Did you already copy it down?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you guys had lecture this morning or no?
Yeah.
You did. Okay, so most of you have already seen this before. I'm going to do it maybe a little bit different way than Ken does. He probably did it a little more detailed. We don't need to be that detailed in lecture, in lab. So I'm doing it a little light, but it's very crystal clear. Okay, so hopefully between him and me together, you'll get it down. Okay, very, very easy. It's a complicated process that you can really simplify by just saying one thing. Hypothalamus is the boss of the anterior pituitary gland, period. Okay? The anterior pituitary gland won't do anything until its boss tells it to. There are 3 questions that you will need to know for the practical. What hormone is produced by this tissue? What hormone is released by this tissue? Because they're not always the same. Ooh. Internal summer? Or is it hot in here? Oh, good. Oh. Well, it's a little hot to me right now, so. And what hormone acts on this tissue? Okay, those 3 things. What hormone is produced by this tissue, what hormone is released by this tissue, and what hormone acts on this tissue. Before we start talking about the individual hormones, let's look at this hypothalamus pituitary gland deal. Okay, they work in conjunction with each other. The hypothalamus will create vasopressin, oxytocin, releasing hormones, and inhibiting hormones. For vasopressin and oxytocin, it's going to send it down this connecting stalk and send it to the posterior pituitary gland. The posterior pituitary gland won't create anything. It'll just release oxytocin and vasopressin. For these releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones, here's how it works. This is how the hypothalamus will tell the anterior pituitary gland what to do. So let's say the hypothalamus detects that there is a decrease in growth hormone. It will do something like this. It will release, this means release, growth hormone, releasing hormone. The anterior pituitary gland gets that message and says, oh, okay, the boss just told me release growth hormone. So it'll release growth hormone. And it's going to keep releasing growth hormone until the hypothalamus says that's enough. The way the hypothalamus will tell the anterior pituitary gland that that's enough is it will release growth hormone inhibiting hormone. As soon as the anterior pituitary gland receives that message, it'll go, oh, okay, I will stop releasing growth hormone. That makes sense? So the anterior pituitary gland isn't going to make a move at all until the hypothalamus tells it to. Make sense? It tells it by releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones. Now that's just an example for growth hormone. Look at all of the hormones that the anterior pituitary gland creates and releases. Thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, prolactin, all of these it will create and release, but only if the hypothalamus tells it to. This means that the hypothalamus will create and release releasing hormones for every one of these and inhibiting hormones for every one of these. So there's GHRH, TSHRH, ACTHRH, FSHRH, LHRH, MSHRH, prolactin RH. There's also GHIH, TSHIH, ACTHIH, FSHIH, and so on. Does that make sense? So there's a releasing hormone for every one of these and an inhibiting hormone for every one of these. This is how the anterior pituitary gland knows what to do. Its boss will tell it based on what it releases. Does that make sense? Clear, clear, clear? Super easy though, right? Does that make sense with what he told you today? Did he go into the detail of this yet, or no? Yeah? Okay, way more detail, right? But this is the basics of it. You don't need all of the detail to understand how this works. That's how it works. Good? Alright. So let's look at